Hey everyone, welcome back to Invest Edge Academy. I'm Charlie, and today we're talking about one of the strangest, most mysterious events in human history. Imagine this. It's the summer of 1518 in a small town in France. Out of nowhere, people start dancing. Not for fun, not for celebration, but uncontrollably. They can't stop. Days turn into weeks, and the dancing spreads like wildfire. People collapse from exhaustion, some even die. What caused this bizarre outbreak? Was it a disease, a curse, or something even more sinister? Stick around, because this story is about to get really strange. Oh, and before we get started, if you're already hooked, hit that like button. It really helps the channel grow and keeps us bringing you more fascinating stories like this one. All right, let's get into it. So, let's set the stage. It's July 1518 in Strasbourg, a bustling town in the Holy Roman Empire. Life is tough. Famine, disease, and poverty are everywhere. People are stressed, scared, and desperate. And then, one day, a woman named Frau Trophea steps into the street and starts dancing. No music, no reason, just dancing. At first, people think she's just being odd, maybe trying to blow off some steam. But hours pass, and she doesn't stop. She keeps dancing, her feet bleeding, her body trembling, but she can't stop. By the next day, more people join her. 10, 20, 50. Within a week, there are over 100 people dancing uncontrollably in the streets. It's chaos. People are collapsing from exhaustion, some are having heart attacks, and yet, they keep dancing. The town leaders are baffled. They call in doctors, priests, anyone who might have an answer. But no one knows what's going on. Now, here's where it gets even stranger. The town council decides that the best way to cure the dancers is to let them dance it out. They hire musicians, set up a stage, and encourage the dancers to keep going, thinking they'll eventually tire themselves out. But instead of stopping, the dancing spreads even further. It's like a plague, infecting more and more people. And this is where the theories start to come in. Some people at the time believed it was a punishment from God, a divine curse for the sins of the town. Others thought it was the work of the devil, possessing the dancers and forcing them to move. But modern historians have a few different ideas. One theory is that it was a case of mass hysteria, or what we now call a psychogenic illness. Basically, the stress and fear of living in such harsh conditions caused people to lose control, and the dancing was a physical manifestation of their mental anguish. It's like when you're so stressed you can't sit still, but on a much, much larger scale. But here's the thing. Mass hysteria doesn't usually last this long. The dancing plague went on for weeks, and it wasn't just a few people. Hundreds were affected. So, could it really have been just stress? Or was there something else at play? Another theory is even more bizarre. Some researchers think the dancers might have been poisoned by a fungus called ergot, which grows on damp rye and wheat. Ergot contains chemicals similar to LSD, and eating it can cause hallucinations, muscle spasms, and you guessed it, uncontrollable movements. But here's the catch. If it was ergot poisoning, why didn't everyone in the town get sick? And why did it only cause dancing? Ergot poisoning usually causes seizures and violent convulsions, not rhythmic movements. So, while it's an interesting theory, it doesn't fully explain what happened. And then there's the idea that it was all a social phenomenon. In a time when people believed in curses and divine punishment, seeing one person dance uncontrollably might have triggered others to join in, almost like a subconscious reaction. It's the same way yawning is contagious, except, way more deadly. But let's dig a little deeper. Why dancing? Why not screaming or crying or some other form of hysteria? Some historians believe that the answer lies in the culture of the time. In the 16th century, dancing was often associated with religious rituals and even healing. There were saints like Saint Vitus, who were believed to have the power to cure diseases through dance. In fact, some of the dancers reportedly claimed they were dancing to appease Saint Vitus, hoping he would cure them of their affliction. This brings us to another theory. Could the dancing plague have been a form of religious mania? During this time, Europe was deeply religious, and people often turned to saints and rituals in times of crisis. The idea of dancing as a form of penance or devotion might have taken hold, especially in a community already on edge from famine and disease. But here's where it gets even more mysterious. The dancing plague wasn't an isolated incident. Similar outbreaks had been reported in other parts of Europe, dating back as far as the 14th century. In one case, a group of people danced on a bridge until it collapsed, killing many of them. So, whatever caused the dancing plague of 1518 wasn't unique to Strasbourg. It was part of a larger, unexplained phenomenon. And here's another twist. The dancing plague didn't just stop on its own. According to some accounts, the town eventually brought in a group of priests who performed an exorcism. They led the dancers to a shrine dedicated to Saint Vitus, where they prayed and offered sacrifices. After that, the dancing reportedly stopped. Was it the power of faith, or was it just a coincidence? So what do you think? Was it mass hysteria, a fungal poisoning, religious mania, or something else entirely? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear your theories. And hey, if you're enjoying this deep dive into history's strangest mysteries, make sure to hit that subscribe button and join the Invest Edge Academy family. We've got plenty more fascinating stories coming your way. Before we wrap up, let me leave you with this thought. The dancing plague of 1518 is a reminder of how little we sometimes understand about the human mind and the world around us. Even today, with all our science and technology, there are still mysteries that defy explanation. And that's what makes history so endlessly fascinating.